wanted to address you folks. Enjoying my bad habit, I had some thoughts here about the selection thing. What's going to happen is, I remember as a young man, it was about 1986. I was in Libya there was Greek docks in Libya. There was some unrest over an election, something similar to this. And all I remember is after I wiped the shit from my eyes and I'm getting back on my feet, there's a girl standing there holding half a child. It's where I always get that expression. I tell people it's something that sticks in your mind. It never goes away. Right above her left shoulder, she had part of the stroller stuck here in her left breast. And later on that evening, I asked the corpsman. Her name was Jennifer or Jessica, something like that. I asked her. I says, "That woman," I says, that I pulled, that came running up, and I says she almost ended up underneath the car. She was so stunned. I says, "How is she?" And she says, "Well," she says, "when we got her in the Hummer, they couldn't even pry the dead baby out of her arms. For one, they dropped her off that way, and she was already deceased. But that never goes away in your mind." And what I have to tell you politicians, because I know human nature, I'm part psychic. I think that's why I still smoke, is because I care too much. I'm a living, breathing human being. But you son of a bitches that are involved in stealing this election, protecting your Chinese investments and all your child traffic and bullshit that you're up to. When those Timothy McVeigh party favors start going off outside your buildings, you better hope you die with it, because number one, that blood on your hands, it never goes away. Never goes away. Okay? That's why I stopped hunting when I came home and I settled. I don't even like the sight of blood. But everybody else is going to be able to see it, and they're going to know who you are. That's what Trump meant when you show your colors, and the types of things that you do have consequences. Our president was a brilliant guy, because that stuff is going to start happening. Everybody calls me psychic, and that includes my family. Anybody that knows me, some of the people that were in my videos with me, very few. I keep my private life fairly private. When I have something to say like that, okay, there's nowhere you're going to hide from it. Okay, it's going to happen. It's human nature. You've screwed with the world. I can't take a more reserved attitude. I don't think it's in my nature to be gentle about stuff like that. I'm not involved in things like that. But I've already seen what's on the internet, and it's not good what's going to happen. It's not good. And I'm posting things too. Joe Biden, if I were you, I'd get a steel brain bucket, just like Saddam had to wear there for a while. Get a stainless steel one, because you're going to need it. You and camel toes. This is America. It's the United States. And we were just recovering from one of the worst economies, the Obama years. He was a communist little fucking prick too. Him and his old big mouth old lady, they have no brain power to even speak of. The man accomplished nothing in his life. I can't say nothing about President Trump, because I worked on his projects down the Mews in New Jersey and all that. Our paychecks always came. We got turkeys on the holidays. I never missed a paycheck when I worked for that company. But let me warn you about the company that's coming. The company that's coming, they're hurt. As people lose their jobs in their houses, when this smoke clears, when their fake death and destruction hoax is over, it's gonna live on in people's minds. As I said, that blood, when you see it, that's why a lot of people, my family said when I came home I was changed. My children, even my ex-wife, I get along with my ex-wife better now, divorced. When you have several marriages under your belt, I call it being a Rhodes Scholar in life. You don't have to be a psychic to figure out what's going to happen and what's going to go on from here. As I'm fixing bird feeders, the wind did some damage. I'm cleaning up some branches. I've got bills laying. I got taxes laying. This is a train wreck. What's going on? It's not even funny. But I'm just telling you, folks. People call me part psychic. I think I made it. I think I made my rank by not being psychic. I think it's common sense. It's human nature's common sense. And it's not good when people start toying with your life. You're toying with people's livelihoods, the businesses that they built. And I think everybody recognizes that, but I don't think anybody's thinking deep in their mind the consequences, or they think they're going to be out of the way of it, like Biden's going to have his virtual parade and virtual inauguration. Hell, he could be anywhere when that's going on. He's probably going to skip the country, go to his France or whatever. There's allegations now out of Italy that there are the actual people, they tracked them down, that changed those servers. First off, folks, regardless of all the bullshit, it's going to have consequences. Because everybody's making, oh, they found the evidence. We already know this was stolen. We already know in Pennsylvania here, okay, the communist wealth of Pennsylvania, there were more votes than there were voters. And yet our legislators sat on their thumbs and let this governor shit all over the American people. Tom Wolf, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining, because it's going to have consequences for anybody that comes here. Okay? You're a prick, Tom Wolf. You're a big communist scumbag. You and that fucktard Shapiro. If I had you here, I'd kick both your fucking asses. That's what I said about a Marine like me. I know what's coming down the line. I may not like blood, I may not like guns and knives that much anymore, but I'll tell you what, punching somebody in the fucking mouth that needs it, I won't think twice about doing that. I never did. I have a reputation for that sort of stuff. Think about it deeply tonight, and you people that work in those public buildings that are exposed or whatever, if I were you, I'd find a different career. You're probably already half or three-quarters unemployed anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and I don't necessarily give a shit. I just know human nature, and I understand it more so than a lot of other people. That's how I'm able maybe to do the things that I can do. I have different perceptions, and I explore my perceptions, my skills. It's not something everybody does. A lot of people get discouraged, or they're going to feel embarrassed because they screw something up. Like a motorized bike. Have I ever made a screw, or you're working on a vehicle trying to get it running again. I've had people half panicked because I missed something, that it didn't start back up, or it didn't sound the same as it did when they brought it. That's why I really don't like people here when I'm working on stuff, or that they bring it to me and they want me to work on it right away, because your mind works different, especially when you have a distraction. But this election fraud, it's not a distraction anymore. It was kind of funny at first that people would actually think it was real, but you slimy little fucking toads there in Washington that stuck that Antifa in there and then shit-canned the Electoral College, the blood's going to be on your hands, folks. You enjoy it for the rest of your life, and you enjoy being a marked man, because mark my words, I'm dead balls accurate. It's how I can do the things that I've been able to do in my life, and I've done a lot of it by myself, and I'm proud of it. But one thing you're not going to be proud of is what you brought upon this country. The shame is one thing, the blood's going to be another. Thank you for listening to my videos. If I sound kind of like a lunatic, I think a lot of people have been emotionally affected by all of this, mentally somehow. Everybody's been a little affected by it. There's some others like me, you can tell to calm down, and I got to deal with it. You're right, I got to calm down, I got to deal with it. But I'll tell you, those guys that got a lot of returning veterans with a lot of skills, this is not going to end well, people. And I don't know what else. That's why I said, if you know somebody that works in one of those public buildings, a banking office, ask them to stay home, cook dinner. I don't know how you're going to manage your bills. Work for Amazon in the warehouse. I wouldn't even say a place like that's even safe, but I don't know what else to tell people. Personally, I'm not mentally equipped to work in a warehouse. That type of environment, it goes right up my willies. When I can't be in the outdoors, even today, it's windy out there, and I'm picking up branches and limbs. I'm just doing my thing. I can't be inside. I can't be contained. Take my advice, though, about what I just said, and pass it along. And don't pass it along like I just said I'm going to do this or that, because it's not in my nature. At one time, I had thought about being a minister. I just don't have the personality for that either. I am good as a mechanic, and that's what I'm good for, and that's what I stick to, is my construction and mechanics. And politics, I'd probably be a vicious politician. Nancy Pelosi, I would have throttled that bitch already. She would have been on the floor of that Senate so fast. Her and that other lying son of a bitch. And Raffensperger, you and Kemp down there, you scumbags, you're in the same boat as these fucktards up here in Harrisburg. You're nothing but scumbags, all of yous. And that's what I think of yous. And I know maybe you don't necessarily give a shit what I think about it, or anybody else. The day's coming. I know human nature. United States Marine Corps, United States Navy is where I started out. Department of Defense is where I ended up. And thank God I'm out of it. I'm retired. I miss the money, yes. I miss the adventures, but I don't have the health anymore. And this, I don't even, like I said, I have the mental capacity to say the younger generation's taking over, they're going to handle this. I just don't want to see how it's handled. So it's a hard thing in your heart to know that your country has slipped this far down the fucking tubes. Enjoy the video. Pass this along to anybody you know. Keep forwarding it that other people understand what you're going to see in this generation, this lifetime. I never thought I'd live to see this kind of thing. Well, maybe so. I knew when every place you went to get a job when I was younger, a young man, it closed up shop. Or those companies are a mere shell of what they used to be. Thanks, guys.